Artificial Intelligence Project Tracking Design Labyrinth Shooter AI by Karen Arenas Monge, Emilio Galindo Hayashi, Gabriel Socbi Rodríguez y Carlos Ponce Linares.
For the project, we're going to have 4 types of enemies, each with different behaviors for every group member. For the first enemy type, the enemy will plant mines across the game field, predicting the places the player will pass in order to kill him. This type are going to use unsupervised inductive learning because the enemy are going to learn from the pattern that the player makes when he moves. For the second type, the enemy will follow the player in order to kill him, but if the enemy enters on the side field of the player, the enemy will freeze. This type are going to use supervised inductive learning because the enemy will learn from the side field of the player and try to not get in. For the third type, the enemy will detect the player's location and try to fall over him in order to kill him. This type are going to use probabilistic knowledge because the enemy will calculate and make decisions from the player's location. For the last type, the enemy will try to arrive to the goal before the player, starting with random moves and then getting better through every generation. This type will use genetic learning because the enemy will learn from their previous generations in every level.
The elements included in the proposal are knowledge, learning, reasoning, and perception.
We are including reasoning, so one type of enemy will use probabilistic reasoning because they will make decisions to accomplish their goal and kill the player.
The types of learning that we're going to include are genetic and inductive, supervised and unsupervised. Genetic because the game goes on, the enemy will learn from their mistakes. Inductive because they will find the best way to defeat the player.
The type of knowledge that we are using will be declarative because we are going to program a series of rules that the enemy will have to follow in order to achieve their objectives, described in the previous diagram.
Here's the first approach of our game. As we can see, it's a first-person shooter staged at an island, which is where you're gonna be playing. There are various elements you can interact with, but the main one that we want to emphasize is the first out of 4 types of artificial intelligence that we're gonna be using. As we can tell, this AI will follow you throughout the whole playing field as long as you are inside his sight range. Although this is a really primitive form of AI, for the Simon's purpose, as the game evolves, so will the AI, as we have stated in the PDF document. These are some of the scripts that we have built in Unity. Here we have the enemy controller, which is the very first step it takes to build an AI. We also have an objective player manager instance and a get component agent. These variables help the AI to calculate distances and identify our main character.